Hey, I'm Corinne and I'm the founder of Speckled, the tool that helps PMs build the right thing at the right time. Today we're going to be talking about working with outsourced development teams. What are some of the opportunities, challenges, and strategies that you can use to make sure that you get the product that you want from your engineering team? Now, chances are, if you're listening to this, you are a product manager at a startup, maybe. You are working on an MVP, or you have an outsourced engineering team that takes care of most of your technical work. Now, this can be great. It can also be a challenge. Obviously, outsourced development teams cost a lot less than an onshore team. However, there are definitely some challenges, and I'm going to cover those top challenges right now, as well as ways to mitigate potential issues. All right, the first one is that they're not brought into your mission or vision, especially if they're contractors or work at a dev shop and churn out lots of apps a year. Chances are they really don't care about what you're doing. They're just there for the paycheck. Nothing wrong with that. But, you can't expect them to get super excited about what you're working on, especially if they are contractors. Next up, communication barriers. There's a lot of these if you're working with an overseas team, especially if their native language is not English. I've worked with overseas teams where a lot of people are self-conscious about their spoken English, so they will not jump on a call with you. So you have to do everything through written communication, which is okay, but just an expectation to manage there. And because of all of this, it leads to an overall slower process. Now, yes, you're saving money, but are you saving time? Something to think about. Anyways, chances are you didn't really have say in whether or not you get to work with an outsourced or onshore team. So we're going to cover some of the things that you can do to make working with an offshore team a lot easier. And the first one, and the absolute key to this, is writing super clear specs and making sure that they are set up for success. You want to have mock-ups, you want to have wireframes, you want to have user stories, you want to have walkthroughs wherever you can, you want to have data diagrams, anything that you can create to make their job easier and decrease the amount of questions that they're going to have is going to be so worth your time. So spend the time to make great specs. Next up, have a style guide. Developers are not always the greatest designers. Having something that they can go to pool styles and frequent components from is super helpful. It also saves them a lot of time because they don't have to fiddle with styling. Next up, plan out overlapping time. If you're working with a team in a very different time zone, your work schedules are probably not going to overlap super neatly. You may have to get up and go to work a couple hours early, or you may need to stay a little bit later. You're going to need to have some kind of overlapping time where the development team can ask you questions and you can get them a response in a decent amount of time. Otherwise, sometimes it can be a whole day before you get questions answered or can answer their questions. So definitely plan out some overlapping time. And finally, understand their culture. This is a big one, and you should understand how they like to communicate, how they like to work, when they like to take breaks, when their big holidays are. These things are going to be really critical to how you communicate. And I remember the first time I worked with a developer from Eastern Europe. I am the kind of person who likes to use lots of emojis and lots of exclamation points. And it was a little bit jarring at first to realize that these people are a lot more direct, to the point, no fluff. And, that's just the way they roll. So you need to get used to these different communication styles. Alternatively, I've also worked with teams over in the Philippines who are so friendly and so nice that if they get stuck, they don't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt your feelings or, make you feel weird. It all comes down to culture and communication style. So you need to be aware of what their culture is like and be able to adapt to it. So we talked about some of the opportunities and reasoning for using outsourced development teams, as well as some of the challenges that you will probably run into. And then finally, we talked about how writing clear specs, having a style guide, making sure you have overlapping time on your schedule, and understanding their culture can help you work with your outsourced development team a heck of a lot better. All right, that's it for today. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to our blog at getspeckled.com/blog. Just drop your email there. Every Sunday, we send out a newsletter with the top stories of the week for PMs at small software companies. And in the meantime, happy outsourcing.